In that recent documentary with Prince Harry, where he spoke about his quest to take on the British media, there was a very, very strong underlying veiled threat that perhaps a lot of people didn't pick up on. But it's one, of course, that the royal family did. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good to see you. You all right? Yes, not bad. Now, by the way, can I share this with you? Over here in the United Kingdom, later this year, there's going to be around about 50 cinemas closing. And it got me thinking, really, I believe they're closing simply because there's not the quality of films anymore. Don't know if you agree on that. But it's just interesting, isn't it? Because 50 cinemas is a lot. It's Cineworld, and they're looking at all aspects of their business. They're blaming the fact that the writer's strike slowed down movies, and because the production, all that sort of stuff, it's a knock-on effect. I would say there's simply not the greatest films out there. Tell you what I'd love to know though from you, what was your very first film that you remember going to see, not necessarily as a child but as a grown-up? What did you go and see and think, now I've grown up, I've gone to the cinema and I've seen my very first grown-up film? I think probably for me it might have been Scandal with Joanna Whalley-Kilmer and John Hurt, all about the Perfumo thing. That's the reason why I've been so fascinated with that story. I do remember that playing in one of the twin cinemas in our town. What was yours though? Can you remember? Do you remember the price? And also, showing your age, do you remember when they had an interval? Yeah, you could buy an ice cream, do you remember? Yeah, no, don't get that now, do you? Back as ever to your raw story of the day. Now, what was interesting, as I say, about this particular docu is the fact that, against all the sort of huffing and puffing about how badly treated Harry felt he was with the British media, there was a very much an underlying threat. And it's one, of course, that's so clear to everybody else. Because if you think about it, whichever way you look at it, there you have a very fractured family. Forget the royal family. Just the fact that Meghan cut off her elderly father. For whatever reason, Prince Harry doesn't have the spine to even let her father meet his children. It's going to be a terrible problem when those children get a little bit older and ask a lot of questions. That is my belief. I'm allowed that opinion, and that's what I truly believe. Why on earth did you ostracize us from the whole family? It's not going to wash. It's going to make Mommy Dearest and Joan Crawford seem a bit like a fairy tale, I'm sure you'll agree. But what's interesting here is during that docu-series, he basically said no, that unless they had the security cordon in place, that Meghan wouldn't be coming back. Now here's what I can tell you. Harry's not allowed to bring the children into England alone. That's because she doesn't want that. She doesn't want to be parted from her children. And apparently tears flow at the mere suggestion. I told you a while back that he wouldn't have minded bringing his son Archie over here. No, not allowed, absolutely, tantrum, thumb down, that sort of stuff. So it's interesting because even now he is literally curtailing to the line. She basically said unless she's 100% sure about the security that will be entailed and around them as they move back into, of course, the UK life, when that comes into place, then she would consider bringing the children over. Now, obviously that's not up to His Majesty the King. It's up to the British Home Office, headed currently by Yvette Cooper, who's apparently no great monarchist herself. So if she doesn't afford that to Harry, which I've been told will not be happening, then seriously, the royal family will never get to see these children. Fascinating to think, isn't it? All of this played out literally on national television. I'd love to know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. Neil Shawn in the very heart of London.